Hello everybody, this is going to be a little bit of a interesting video. So today I want to try and just fiddle around with Photoshop because I think it's fun, and I'm going to attempt to reimagine some of Pokemon's shiny Pokemon. And some of the all of the Pokemon I will be choosing are shinies that aren't the best, usually. And luckily enough, this video isn't going to just have my take on it. This video is actually going to have an artist's take on it as well. So you will not just get to see my version of a tweaked shiny, you will get to see her version of a tweaked shiny. So 2 for the price of 1. That'll be awesome. And let me tell you, I've seen a few of hers. They are so much better than mine. And she does it in like 10 seconds. Not joking. It's going to take me a lot longer to do these. But anyway, without getting into it, we are going to start with Gengar. We are going to have more later on in this video. I'm not going to spoil what they are. So, for Gengar, we first off have to make sure that we kind of pick him apart a little bit. We are going to want to take the Magic Lasso tool, and basically we're going to make each part of his body, his eyes and his mouth, a different layer, so that when we end up changing the color of the body, it doesn't change the color of the eyes. There we go. Okay. We have all of the bits and pieces. Now that I have all of his bits and pieces, I have his... It kind of looks like the Cheshire Cat, kind of. But we have successfully isolated his mouth and eyes. So now we are more than free to mess with the main body. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I have actually tried this before, and I know that what I would usually do won't work with Gengar, because working with whites is a little difficult when you just want to mess with the hue and saturation. So we're going to have to go about this a roundabout way. And first off, we are going to want to add a hue and saturation layer. And we are going to just make him as gray as humanly possible. And there we go. Shiny's done. No, I'm joking. The shiny's not done yet. But what we want to do is, one, we have to change the background to black so that we can see what we're working with. Because if we're working with white, we know we won't be able to see anything. So now what we're going to want to do is we are going to want to create a... Now we set this to overlay, which is great. Okay, after just spamming through all of the options, we finally got it. This is by no means what it's going to look like, but this is the kind of white, I guess, that I was thinking of. Although, we have to keep the shadows and stuff, or else it's going to look really, really weird. So then all we really have to do is just add in his mouth and eyes, and there you go. There's the white shiny. I think it actually looks kind of cool. The sprite's obviously not the 3D one, so it doesn't look as polished as it would, but I still think it looks really, really cool. And just for the heck of it, I want to see what would happen if I just made it pure white, like get rid of all the shadows, all the shading, all that. This is going to ruin it. Actually, you know what? I should probably save this first. So I'm going to save it so that I don't ruin it, and then I'm going to ruin it here. And then we have this part, which is cool. I'm just going to do that. And there you go. So this is what he would look like with no shading whatsoever. He looks really bad. So we're going to get rid of that. We're going to go back to how it was before, and we are actually going to flatten the image. And so there we go. This is my version. On screen, you will see my version. You will see the original shiny variant, and then on the right, you are going to see the artist's take on the shiny Gengar. So I think, I think this turned out kind of well. Obviously, I really, really like the artists as well. It took her like no time whatsoever, and hers is really, really good. But with that said, we are going to be moving on to the next one in just a second. Okay, now we kind of just did Gengar. However, this one I'm not really going to change to make it shiny. I just want to see what he would look like if he was more akin to his Generation 1 sprite, which is probably one of my favorite sprites in all of Pokemon. And I'll throw it up on screen. You're kind of seeing it now. It's pretty much pure black. And I just kind of want to see what Haunter looks like pure black. And so once again, I'm going to have to cut out his eyes and his mouth because it would look a little weird if everything just decided to turn black. So I'm going to do that, and then we can kind of mess around with the hues and see how that looks. However, now we get to see what he would look like completely dark. Now, for starters, I kind of need to do this, and then we're going to add a hue and saturation, and then black. And then, okay, so once again, we're going to have to do what I did last time with Gengar. So, we're going to have to make him gray, and then we're going to come here, and we're going to add a new layer, and we're going to go pow, and then we're going to make color fill, and we're going to make it black. And then we're going to make this a clipping mask. Okay, so we have the black outline, which is good. So without any shadows, that's what he looks like. That honestly looks kind of cool. Like it's everything's kind of conjoined, which we kind of don't want. It's a good start. So now we're going to want to do this. And do I want to try and change things? I don't think so. I mean, I guess we kind of should. Okay, well, we'll do that. Okay, so we're gonna go to normal. We'll go to where was it? Overlay. That one. Nope, that's soft light. That looks really nice, actually. Okay, so this is what he would look like if he was like pure black with the shadow, and it honestly looks really, really, really cool. Now there is one more thing that I kind of want to try, and that is the hands in the sprite art. His hands kind of give off like a hazy kind of effect, and I'm not gonna say that I could do that. I have no idea if I can actually do that. Oh, for starters, we should probably give him the size of the mouse back. So there we go. That's what it actually looks like. But I'm going to attempt to do his hands now, and so what that means is I'm going to get rid of all of these. I'm going to activate the base, and we are going to cut off his hands as well. I am not wording things correctly this video. Okay, so I'm back. I sadly couldn't figure out how to separate everything because what was happening is that this hue and saturation that made Haunter gray to begin with, that allowed me to add in the black and stuff, is overriding what I would normally do to make the hands purple. However, I still think that having the grayish faded outline still looks really, really cool. You know, that's pretty cool. So if you prefer this, or if you prefer this, let me know down in the comments below. I think both are actually really, really good. I think it turned out pretty well. And I think it's also kind of funny that Haunter Shiny goes from really dark black, although this isn't really a shiny version, to really, really white with Gengar. But I just think that this is really, really cool. And so now, we are going to move on to the next one in just a minute. The artist did give me a Haunter one, so her version is a shiny version of interpretation of it. Mine is just the Gen 1 sprite moving over to more modernized look. Okay, real quick, the artist's shiny Haunter actually got finished after I was able to record everything. So this is my first time seeing the shiny, and this thing looks so good. This looks so amazing. The eyes are amazing. I never would have thought of messing with the eyes, and the eyes look so good. And the funny thing is, she doesn't know that I planned on making my Gengar white. She just did it, which is an added bonus. And then I think the pink hands are just great. It's a stark contrast. It's great. It's amazing. But anyway, so with that said, we're going to move on to the next one. Okay, now this is actually going to be really challenging. This might actually be the hardest one so far. Actually, it is, without a doubt. Is Garchomp. Now, Garchomp Shiny's really hard to distinguish between the two. So, yeah, and he's gonna have a lot of parts, which is why which is why it's gonna be as difficult as it is. So I'm just gonna get into it. I'm just gonna try and start doing what I need to do, and I'll be back when I have 30 different pieces. We made it! Woohoo, baby! Alright. We have the, Ooh, Garchomp's been looking a little better. What is this? Oh no. Okay. We finally have everything. This is so many layers. After I merged, probably 5 layers. This is a lot. This is so much more compared to Gengar and Haunter. And we haven't even done any of the hue and saturation stuff. Now the problem is that I kind of have to organize these so that it's not going to be an issue. So that, like, the hue and stuff does not affect anything. Well, actually, wait, hold on. I have an idea. Okay, so here's what I think I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to do each layer separately. Like, I'm going to have to do the abdomen, print it out. Well, not really print it out, but, like, export it. Then re-import it later with the color changes, and then kind of Frankenstein it. So that's what I'm going to try to do. That's what I'm going to attempt to do. Hey, this is terrifying. I don't know why I keep doing this. But we have all the parts that aren't going to change. I think that that looks pretty cool. That took a lot of time, but I think that that looks really, really cool. Look how cool it is. For the heck of it, we're going to make a layer. We're just going to name this background, and we're going to make this black. There you go. That's what it looks like. The claws are a little iffy, but the tool just didn't want to cooperate very well. But I think that this is actually my favorite one so far. This looks really, really cool. And it's so noticeable, unlike the other one. So, again, we are going to see on the left, mine. In the middle, the normal one, I guess, that Game Freak came with. And then on the right, we are going to get to see the artist's version. Now, the artist's version is very different from mine. But I think she actually took the harder challenge and messed with the really tiny spikes, which I clearly very much struggled with. And she also changed a few of the other, like, really, really tiny details, which really matter when you're making something like this. Whereas I did not touch the teeth, I didn't touch the claws, I didn't touch the spikes, I didn't touch any of that. I just went for, like, the big explosive thing, which was the body. But I think both are really, really cool. And this is probably my favorite. This is really, really nice. This is probably my favorite. That's cool. And just for the heck of it, I'm going to flatten this image. And then I'm going to add a stroke. You know, I think that that looks really, really good. We are going to be doing Flamigo. Now, I actually don't think anything's wrong with Flamigo. His shiny's actually pretty nice, I think. I'm going to Google that before I finish saying that sentence. Because I picked it for a reason. Okay, kind of. I mean, it's a watered down pink. So it's not the worst thing. It could be... It could be worse, okay? It could be worse. What we're going to want to do now... See, it's going to be a little... It's not that tricky because we're not going to be touching the legs. And I think the beak is fine. What do we think? I think it looks, like, okay. The problem is that Flamigo is primarily one color. So if I wanted to do a multicolor... Actually, you know... Okay, so I'm going to try and make this dual color, which means that this needs to go away. Yeah, I don't know if I really like that. So we're going to go back to the black by spamming that. Okay. I mean, that shiny looks kind of okay. It's not a watered down pink, which I think is better. Well, actually, let me look up something. What color can flamingos be? Because surely they can be more than... Oh, they can actually be orange, even better. So apparently, actual flamingos can be orange, which is what I'm going to steal. Kind of too. What kind of orange do we want? Like a bright orange? I don't know why it's doing that. That's... Ew. Oh, that's why. There we go. That's a little bright. That's a little bright. But I think that looks a lot better, actually. I really like the orange. Because it's not too far from pink, and it's not black or white. And it's not whatever color gradient crap I was trying to do earlier. This actually looks really, really cool. Although, now it's time for the artists to be seen. And the artist, actually, she went ahead and she did more of a, like a vanilla color. Which is different than white. It adds, like, a shine to it, which is really, really interesting. I don't know... I think both hers and I's, obviously, hers turned out great. She's a great artist, but mine turned out kind of okay, I guess. But okay. So this is the end of the video. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm gonna end it before I start gushing about the Garchomp again because the Garchomp looks so cool. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know if you want to see me do it again. I would actually really like to do this again. And I will see you all in the next one.